Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Iggy's Toy Parade and Soldier Review. This is your host, Iggy, and tonight I'm going to try something a little different. It's not um, toys, it is a collectible, and the backstory of it is somewhat pertinent to the toy collecting story. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is a collector's plate by Hamilton, and it was a limited edition. It was restricted to 27 firing days, which at first blush seems impressive, but when you realize they're probably firing thousands upon thousands each day, um, there's probably like 100,000 of these out there. So not quite as limited as people who purchased these thought they were. Now, why the plates? I have one for each of the original movies and some of the vehicles. Well, after Return of the Jedi, I won't say it was overnight, but suddenly kids just weren't interested in playing with Star Wars anymore. It lasted maybe another year, and then it sort of died out, and all the Star Wars toys disappeared from toy shops and stores across the country and went clearance and then disappeared. And if you were a Star Wars fan, such as myself, although I don't like that title of fan because that's, of course, a contraction of the word fanatic. And, well, anyway, um, I'm shaking. Stop that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, it just was really hard to get anything Star Wars. And I remember going into a record store. Remember those? Shows how long ago this was. I believe it was in 1989. And I went over to the cassette section and I got the soundtrack to Return of the Jedi. And I brought it up to the counter. And of course, there was this really pretty young girl there with a snotty attitude. And the other worker there was a pretty young girl, also with a snotty attitude. And in fact, if you went into, I worked in a bookstore for 5 years, and I can tell you they were all stuck up, arrogant and stuck up. I know I'm cool because I work at a bookstore. Oh, F you. You have a retail job. Shut up. But they all had attitudes, and that's probably what drove record stores out of business. Some people say, no, it was streaming services and getting it online and whatnot that killed record shops. I think it's their stinky attitudes. Anyway, if you worked in a record store, I'm sorry, because just like at the bookstore, there was a lot of nice people that I met there. Not all of them were stuck up. Some of them were. Um, it's funny, they all voted the same way. Huh. Anyway, the stuck up ones could be nice when they weren't putting on their airs, trying to impress people that they were smarter than everyone else. Anyway, I brought it up to the register, and the girl grabs it out of my hand, and she holds it up to the other girl and sneers and says, "Can you believe it?" And I was so shocked that she did that. I didn't say, I should have said something, but I didn't. I kept my mouth shut and I bought it. And I started to walk away, and I could hear her go, "Tch," like, with contempt. Like, what a loser. But anyway, that little story illustrates the state of being a Star Wars fan in the late 80s. And the movie Spaceballs would have been more popular if it come out the same year as Return of the Jedi. But by the time they released it, the craze for Star Wars had fit. Now, nobody will believe me when I say it faded away, because Star Wars is really big now. Well, it used to be big, but it faded away, and you couldn't get a T-shirt. And so Iggy saw an ad for these plates and was hooked. Of course, this plate came out, I think, in 1992. Should say on here. Well, I can't see it. Why is it so blurry? I think it says 1992. Can you see it? So I was suckered into buying one of these because I wanted Star Wars things. And at the time, you couldn't even get a poster. No T-shirts, no posters, nothing. And so I bought this, and then here, let's move this to the side, and we'll take a look at something else here for you. I have to put that G.I. Joe cannon back together again. All right, this one is The Empire Strikes Back. And the art word is, the art word? I have a funny way of talking. The artwork is pretty good. Wait, is that Luke kissing her? Oh no, that's Han. Sorry. Although I'm sure he wanted to. Anyway, Luke, I am your father. Well, happy Father's Day. This is Empire Strikes Back. What year did this come out? 1980. Wow. I'm pretty sure I didn't buy it in 1980, though. Oh, no. That's probably when the movie came out. Yes. Movie premiered. It's showing that it premiered in 1980. Yeah, that I'm aware of. But when did the plate come out? 1992. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Now let's shut this down and get you this one. This one, of course, is going to be Return of the Jedi. And these boxes actually have done a good job protecting the... how does this open? Oh, no. There we go. The boxes have protected the plates pretty well, so that's good. Most of everything else I have is damaged. And that's the artist. He's signed his name, of course. This one is 1993. So 10 years after Return of the Jedi. And your pathetic rebellion shall be crushed. Thank you for that. So Return of the Jedi. You know, guys, what really kickstarted Star Wars and got people interested in it again, and I don't think he gets enough credit for this. Timothy Zahn came out with a trilogy, and the first book was Heir to the Empire, and it featured Admiral Thrawn, who was a blue-skinned alien who became the leader of the remnants of the Empire, and he started winning battles. And I think the fact that he was winning battles made the story compelling. Whereas, you know, you got to admit, in the trilogy, the Empire was by no means any kind of threat because they lost all the time and they couldn't hit their targets. So with the introduction of Timothy Zahn's books, interest started to grow, and comic books were being released by Dark Horse, which revitalized the interest in the old Marvel comic books, and people used to go into comic shops and get those. And then trading cards came out, and then things like this. This is a Frisbee. I love this picture, by the way. It's a Frisbee. And this came with a kite that had a Star Wars picture on it, and also a yo-yo. And when I was selling off stuff, this is the only thing that I didn't sell from that package. But the kite I gave to a little boy who was admiring my Star Wars things, but his dad wouldn't let him get anything. So I said, you know what, you can have it. I didn't think I was going to get much money for it anyway. So why not make the kid happy instead of trying to squeeze $1 out of his dad, who wasn't going to even part with $1? All right, so I should have untaped this before I should have done this before. Hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry about that. I neglected to untape this before I started. And as you know, I make all my videos on the spot without any editing, which is spontaneous, but at the same time is not good video. Okay, here we go. I promised you a plate, and I plan to deliver. And here it is, my favorite image. God, why isn't it coming out of here? Here we go. And it's my favorite image. And look at that, guys. Isn't that neat? Now, I doubt if these plates are worth anything now. I spent quite a bit of money on them back in the day. I had to make payments because they were so expensive. I think it was like 2 or 3 payments per plate. This one is from 1995. And of course, in 1995 is when they started re-releasing the Star Wars toys again. Now, this one is from Empire Strikes Back, and it, of course, is the TIE Fighter. Let me see if I can film this without you looking at dead space. No, you're looking at dead space. Hold on. Well, you can tell this is live because if I could edit, this part would be edited. God, I really taped this shut, didn't I? All right, this is probably worth the wait, though. It's a nice piece of artwork. Let's see, I have it upside down, I think. Here we go. There it is. And this is when they're chasing the Millennium Falcon. And I think they shoot down all of these because the Empire, that really irks me that, the Empire, it's like the same, it's like there's like 6 people that defeat the Empire because all the other characters are just background. And I'm like, come on. Even during World War II, there was leaders who stood out, but they didn't fight that war by themselves. Anyway, Iggy doesn't want to rant about stuff like that. So then the last plate is Return of the Jedi. We'll take a look at that. And of course, by the time this plate came out, the toys were really taken off again. And the reason why they're not worth anything much anymore is because everybody was buying a ton of them. They would buy 3 figures, keep them in the package, so that figures that were still in the package were probably worth less than loose ones because they were so ubiquitous. All right, this is the Millennium Falcon. And that's from they're going through the asteroid field, so that's Empire Strikes Back. And a question that I had when I saw that where the giant space worm tries to swallow the ship is, how does that thing live? What does it eat? Its body mass is gigantic, so it's got, listen to my voice, it's starting to crack. I guess I'm getting tired. Its body mass is so big, it would have to eat constantly, like an elephant. But, it's a space fantasy, not something realistic. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you this time. Let's close off with my favorite plate there. I want to thank you for coming along. I know this is not what I usually present, but it is related to the Star Wars story. And I wanted to talk about what led to the revival of Star Wars. And it's my opinion. Now, some people would argue with it, but I think it's Timothy Zahn's trilogy that really sparked interest in Star Wars again. Because prior to that, Star Wars was pretty much a dead concern by that time, and a lot of people just weren't interested. Just a few people that were collecting, and you could buy a lot of vintage stuff at garage sales for really cheap back in those days. And of course, it got more expensive. And then when I went to the flea market with my 1990, well, actually, my vintage stuff, I got $3 for each vintage figure that I sold. So I guess that's all right. But my 90s figures, I got $2 for a packaged one and $1 for a loose one. So the interest in Star Wars has come up and gone down and come up and gone down. It's fluctuated over the years, and it's easy to forget that. The reason being that in the early days, when Star Wars came out, the lines to see it were gigantic. And I remember talking to this guy. I asked him how many times he had seen Star Wars. He said, "Oh, I love it." He said, "I saw it 13 times." Pardon me. And he said he was going to go see it again tonight. And I'm like, oh my God, 14 times? I saw it 3 times. That's the most I've ever seen a movie until Saving Private Ryan came out. And I saw that 4 times. And that now is the record of how many times I've seen a movie in the theater. Now, I've seen them on TV, of course, and on videotape and seats, DVDs and stuff. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you for indulging me. This really was an indulgence, wasn't it? I appreciate you coming along once again. You guys are great. I want to thank you. And that's it for this time. And I can wrap these up and get them packed up so we can move along. And I don't know what I don't have much left to. Ooh, that's not true. I got a whole bunch of Star Wars figures yet to get through, but then after that, I think I only have like 2 or 3 items left to go, and then that's it. So probably this week I'll be done, and the long journey of presenting you my collection will be at an end until maybe Christmas time. One of my friends kept urging me to make more videos, but I guess if there was greater interest in what I'm doing, I probably would. But, like if I had thousands and thousands of followers like Laura Legend, uh, I subscribe to Laura Legend not because of the toys she shows, it's because she's cute. She has a fun personality. I'm not really into dinosaurs per se. She's really into that. And Alien, and what else does she do? I don't know. She's primarily dinosaurs, though. But she's very cute, so that's why I like looking at her videos. Anyway, I'm rambling again, so I'm going to cut you loose. Thank you for coming along. And I can't really ask you to subscribe in this video because you're like, well, where's the toy soldier parade? But I promise you the next video will be more pertinent to the topic of toy soldiers. All right, guys, that's it. May the force be with you and be one with the force. That's hard for me to say because I'm more of an imperialist. Anyway, long live the emperor. I guess he didn't live long, did he? Bye.